Number 1. Ku. The Polynesian Triangle is a region in the Pacific Ocean encompassing Hawaii, Rapa Nui or Easter Island, and Aotearoa or New Zealand. Ku is a Hawaiian name for the war god that is found in different interpretations throughout the Polynesian Triangle, known as Tu in Maori mythology. Often depicted with his signature angry face, he is a fearsome god of both creation and war. Along with his 3 brothers, he is one of the 4 great gods of Hawaiian mythology. But he was the only Hawaiian god to whom human sacrifices were made, with his worshippers believing he would aid them in battle in return. Number 2. Tane. Tane, the Maori interpretation of the Polynesian god known as Kane in Hawaii, is a god of forests. His strength was pivotal in the Maori creation story. In the beginning, the Sky Father, Ranganui, and the Earth Mother, Papatuanuku, were held in a constant embrace, and they created children who were born in the darkness. Some of the children decided they wanted to try separating the parents to let the light in. 2, being the aggressive war god, wanted to kill the parents, but Tane suggested they just push them apart. Several gods tried but failed. Only Tane was strong enough. He laid on his back and pushed with his feet until he separated the 2, creating the world in between the earth and the sky. Number 3. Tawhiri Matea. Tawhiri Matea was another Maori god involved in the creation story. He was associated with storms and lightning. He objected to the separation of his parents. When Tane pushed the Sky Father and the Earth Mother apart, their blood spilt, creating red clay. This sent Tawhiri Matea into a rage. He attacked his brothers, making the sea god Tangaroa flee into the ocean. Number 4. Oro. Oro is the most powerful god in the Arioi pantheon, which was a religious society in Tahiti. Members of the Arioi couldn't keep children and had to sacrifice them to Oro, believing they were returning the baby to the world of the spirits. The largest temple in Polynesia, Tapu Tapu Atea, was built to honor Oro. Oro could be a god of peace, but when associated with war, he was often referred to as the Manslayer. One time, he got angry at his first wife and threw her to earth, where she transformed into a heap of sand. Number 5. Maniloa. Maniloa was an evil Samoan god associated with cannibalism. He lived in a deep, dark valley and created a bridge over the top to lure adventuring Samoans. He would wait for people to cross, and when they attempted to, he would shake the bridge, making them fall into his home, where he would devour them. Number 6. Whakapatu. Whakapatu is a giant Tongan god who lives in an ocean cave on a small island that caused large echoing when the waves crashed against it. Another deity from another island, Tuitofua, a giant shark god, became annoyed at the sound of Whakapatu's cave and came to visit him. When landing on the island, he entered Whakapatu's cave and grew his mouth to be as large as the cave itself to mimic the entrance. When Whakapatu returns, he sees through the trick and turns into a small fish and enters the shark god's stomach. From there, he uses his powers of size to grow and grow, stretching Tuitofua's stomach, causing him great pain, until eventually he submits. Whakapatu then kicks Tuitofua off of his island and makes him promise that his sharks will never again attack the inhabitants of Whakapatu's island. Number 7. Whiro. The god of darkness, sickness, and evil in Maori mythology is known as Whiro. His enemy is his brother and the god of forests, Taone, who represents light and life, in contrast to Whiro's darkness and death. Because of their association to Whiro, Maori were often wary of skinks and geckos, which he once used to attack his brother Tane when they were competing in search for knowledge. He lives in and rules over the dark 4th level of the Maori Underworld, where he eats the dead. Number 8. Gege. Gege was a Samoan deity who lived in the village of Falealili. He is best known for ridding Upolu, the 2nd largest island in Samoa, of a race of evil demons. During his battle with the demons, he used his magic to turn them into stone, and unusual rock formations in Oparu are still said to be the petrified demons. Number 9. Pele. A powerful deity found only in Hawaiian mythology, is the tempestuous goddess of volcanoes and fire. She lives with her family inside the volcano, Kilauea. She has a tumultuous relationship with her husband, the half-pig, half-man demigod Kamapua, who she physically fought with. But her most exciting battle was with the snow goddess Paleahu, who lived on the snowy mountain summit of Mauna Kea. The two rivals entered a sledding competition to see who was the fastest. Pele blazed downwards, using her flames to propel her forward. But as the goddess of snow, Paleahu was at an unfair advantage and beat Pele. Pele was furious and shook the ground, causing lava to erupt at Paleahu. Paleahu cast her icy blizzards and snow at Pele's lava, cooling and hardening it. She then fled to the north, where Paleahu has domain, free of volcanic eruptions, whereas Pele has control of the volcanic south of Hawaii Island. Number 10. Namaka. Another goddess that fought with Pele was her older sister, the goddess of the sea, Namaka. Namaka fell in love with and married a great sorcerer, but Pele later seduced and stole her husband. Namaka was furious, and so she drove Pele from her original homeland of Tahiti all the way to Hawaii with immense tidal waves. The two battle, but Pele's fighter loses to Namaka's water. Number 11. Maui. Maui is a culture hero that features in mythologies throughout the whole of Polynesia and is probably the most famous. Often referred to as a demigod, meaning a lesser deity, he was born to human parents, but he had supernatural powers and accomplished tasks impossible for humans. Some of Maui's most impressive feats include pulling up islands with his magical fishing hook, stealing fire to bring to mankind, and slowing the sun by trapping it and beating it up until it agreed to slow down because the days just weren't long enough. He was also capable of turning people into dogs, which he did to his brother-in-law. But he wasn't immortal, which we'll speak about next. Number 12. Ina Nui Te Po. Ina Nui Te Po is a Maori goddess of the dead and the underworld. Hine fell in love with Tane, the god of the forests, but she later came to realize that Tane was actually her father. Horrified by this news, she fled to the underworld, Po, meaning darkness. Here, she became the ruler of the first part of the underworld, dragging mortal souls down into her realm. She was responsible for the demise of the previously mentioned trickster hero, Maui, who travelled to Po, searching for immortality for mortals. When he was there, he saw Hine sleeping, so he turned into a lizard and climbed between her legs, hoping he would find the secret to immortality inside of her. Some bird friends he had travelled with saw this and couldn't help but chuckle loudly at the sight. Ina Nui Te Po awoke suddenly hearing this and crushed Maui to death with her pelvis. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and also consider becoming a member so I can make more.